free.
Welcome back. SA cane growers has called on the government to reconsider the controversial sugar tax. As concern mounts over the impact of this tax on the sugar industry, sugarcane producers are appealing for either the scrapping of the tax or an extension of the moratorium on increases. To provide further insight, SA cane growers chairperson Higgins Mgluli joins us. Mr. Mgluli, thank you so much for talking to us this evening on Newsnight. Now, we know farmers across all sectors are feeling the input cost squeeze, where the cost of production is rising more sharply than the prices they receive for their produce. But we want to know, what are sugarcane farmers facing with the sugar tax in addition to this squeeze?
Good evening, Anli and ENCA viewers. As you highlighted in your introduction, that both associations, it is very significant that both SA cane growers and SAFT are calling for the scrapping of the sugar tax. Since both organizations, they represent all 25,000 sugarcane growers in South Africa, most of which are small-scale growers who are anchors of employment in the communities of Zulu-Natal, the rural communities of Zulu-Natal and Mpumalanga. And just to come back to your question, the sugar tax, there's a global and local evidence that sugar taxes aren't working as intended, despite the claims to the contrary by some health activists. As we stand from our side, since it was introduced in 2018, our understanding was that it was introduced for the sole intention to reduce diabetes and obesity in South Africa. But in the past 6 years, since it is clear that the tax is not achieving this goal. And recent scientific research on the sugar tax is at best inconclusive, or even worse. It clearly shows that a singular tax like the sugar tax cannot address a broad lifestyle disease such as obesity. Instead, since its introduction, the sugar tax has wreaked havoc in the sugar industry, it leading to a multi-billion rand revenue loss, causing substantial job losses, especially in a country with one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. And also it resulted to a permanent closure of 2 mills in KwaZulu-Natal. It is against this background that both organizations, we implore the president and his administration to either scrap the sugar tax in entirety, or at the very least extend the HPL moratorium until 2030.
We know in South Africa that we really have to make a concerted effort to support small-scale farmers in the interests of transformation. We have so many commercial farmers where we don't see adequate transformation levels, and trying to bring those small-scale farmers up to commercial level. You're saying many sugarcane farmers are small-scale farmers. They are breadwinners. Talk to us about the impact of the sugar tax and its effects on the sugarcane industry, on transformation in the sector.
It is obviously, as I indicated, it's definitely, we refer to 2030 because that correlates with our sugarcane value chain master plan to 2020, which is the process which see government and the sugar industry work together to address all the threats and explore opportunities to save the industry from an existential crisis. One of them is obviously looking at transformation, which one of the targets is to see the delivery of sugarcane by 2030, delivery of the whole sugarcane by 50% of the growers being former black and small-scale growers. That's how serious we are looking at transformation within the industry, because we realize that those small-scale growers are the most vulnerable ones when it comes to the price shocks and the sugar demand shocks.
I want to find out from you a little bit more about the Sugarcane Value Chain Masterplan and whether that makes provision for perhaps product diversification opportunities, which Minister of Finance Enoch Godongwana gave you 2-year reprieve in February 2023 to try and see if you could restructure to save the industry in that way?
Yes, it does involve a product diversification, but we can indicate that our intensive research, it indicates that a period of 2 years was not adequate for the realization of product diversification. Hence, our request for either the total scrapping now, while we are not only looking at saving the jobs and the livelihoods, but it will also buy us time for the sugar industry to diversify into future products, such as the sustainable aviation fuels. And in that process as well, we must understand that we need government to create an enabling policy environment and also investment in order to realize that product diversification and also to secure the future of cane growers in South Africa. We need government, and that is exactly what is happening within the Sugarcane Value Masterplan. We call it Sugarcane Value Chain now. We used to call it sugar. Because now we want to use the cane stock to look at other products that can be produced. We will need that time, and we believe that by 2020, at least to sort of take care of the demand that has already gone down, some of the diversification products will be able to save the industry if we can have the time until 2020 and not have the sugar tax implemented in that period.
Have you had some positive engagements with government, perhaps with Minister Steenhuisen? What kind of sense are you getting from the department to see whether there's going to be appetite to hear your pleas?
Yeah, we are looking at the Sugarcane Masterplan Phase 2 now, and we'll be engaging with the ministers. We are continuing our engagements with DTIC and the Department of Agriculture. What we are also looking at is to work with government and other affected stakeholders to say, let's rethink and use a balanced approach in addressing obesity and related non-communicable diseases in South Africa. Because while you were trying to address it, it has led to a lot of unintended consequences to us in the sugar industry. So we would like to see the other departments coming up with especially a comprehensive study to identify the actual causes of obesity, looking at the holistic dietary intake and lifestyle. We believe that if that study is done, it will look at, government will then have an opportunity to implement sort of an evidence-based interventions that can address the non-communicable disease together with obesity, at the same time also ensure the growth and stability in rural agriculture and 1 million livelihoods that rely on the sugarcane industry as a whole.
Well, thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight. We appreciate your insights. That was Higgins Mgluli, SA Cane Growers Chairperson. Now, parents should